what is your current song that's out and where can I find it?
Never Let You Go is out on all streaming platforms. It's YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music. Wherever you get your music, Never Let You Go is on there. So go check it out.
And Never Let You Go is your first single. I was wondering why that is your first single. Like, what was the decision for that?
Never Let You Go was my first single because, well, the truth of the matter is, I'll say this: it's not my favorite song that I have in the queue, but Never Let You Go was my first single because I feel like it is the safest song. Um, but I also feel like the meaning behind the song was most important to the transition from me as a exclusive gospel artist to now doing R&B, pop, hip hop, and all these other music styles. And the song "Never Let You Go" was really about me saying, I know I'm moving from doing exclusive gospel music to doing gospel music exclusively to now doing all these other influences and styles of music. And so I wanted to cement in my discography a moment, just in the case I ever forgot, a moment for me to remember where I came from, you know what I mean? And give a nod to where I came from. So really, it is a song to God. Like, everything I've been through, everything you've allowed me to go through has brought me here. And wherever I will go in life, it's only going to be because you are with me. And so that is the emotional and the heart reason behind why I chose Never Let You Go.
So, Never Let You Go isn't about a potential suitor at all.
No, it's not. It is not about a potential suitor. And I intentionally made sure that the lyrics felt that way because I think with all forms of art, it's important to allow people to um, have some ability to see themselves and see their experiences in your art form. So I think it was important for me to kind of create an ambiguous picture um, in this, and so it's a song about my relationship with God and being a former gospel artist. So that's what it's about.
That you'll have a mixture of things like that in the future.
I love God with my whole heart. I would never say that I'm not gonna do any more gospel music. Um, I would love to do some gospel music. It just has to make sense, really, like any other song that I do. So 100%, I'll still do gospel songs. I'll still do stuff. I think the truth is, as long as people want to work with me in a gospel space, mainly because sometimes those spaces can be a little bit afraid of working with people who aren't in the gospel space exclusively, which I understand. I'm not offering any criticism of that. And so because of that, I just think I'll work with people in gospel spaces and do gospel music. So as long as they want me to be there, um, I may possibly even continue to write gospel songs for gospel artists if that opportunity presents itself. So you never know. I think the main thing, the one thing that jumps out to me, and I'm amazed at this every day, is just the organic support and the organic interactions. That's people sharing music and posts, without my prompting, and it feels extremely heartwarming and gratifying to have people invest in your skill set in any way, shape, or form, and invest in your art form. So I think that's been the most surprising thing. Um, that people have liked it, right? And have in some way, shape, or form have gotten behind it and have been surprised um, that I'm actually an artist who's very methodical and intentional about what I do. Just the people who I've had intimate conversations with. So I think that's been the biggest surprise. When I filmed the video for Never Let You Go, I hadn't announced my artistry rebrand as Shawndré. I hadn't done any of that. And the video turnout was great. Um, when I released the single, though, I was intentional to not like force it down people's throat and I just wanted to watch people's organic interaction. So, um, with a few conversations that people have had with me by calling me and texting me and things like that, I just really was amazed by the genuine support and the daily shares sometimes where people are just listening to the song, calling me saying like I can't get the song out of my head. People stopping me in church and people, saying they know my stuff, or people stopping me that see me outside saying they know what I got working on. They know what I've been working on. So I think that's been some of the most rewarding stuff I've experienced.
Pretty well, and you're pleased with the support you've been getting?
100% yes. My expectation is never that I have, the immediate gratification to the highest degree. And so any support I get is good support. So I've been really happy and really pleased with the level of support. And one of the things I really have loved is people's attention to the quality of content that we've been producing. That means a lot. I try to tell myself to just be relaxed and know that everybody won't love and appreciate and accept who I am and how I show up, but somebody will. A good amount of people will. Because my focus in just even with personal relationships is to make sure that I'm showing up authentically as me. Because if I masquerade as somebody else or as something else or whatever and inquire or request somebody else's authenticity without showing up that way first, it's probably one of the most harmful things I can do to a friendship or to a relationship. And so I try to take that same idea and place it in interviews, and that is just be who you are. Don't expect people to genuinely and authentically support you and you being fake. So just be who you are, and those that support will support. Those who won't. And you just keep it pushing.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. You're not gonna need no social media training when you get big. Because
Thanks, bro.
You already wrote it, and you definitely spun it in a way that felt very natural.
You know what's crazy though? I was literally just telling somebody. I said, people will. This is why Never Let You Go is important for me, because I have been a worship leader for 12 years. That's a decade plus of experience in professional settings. I've been in spaces with some major artists, major movers and shakers, bro. Major producers in the secular world and in the gospel world. Major artists, major musicians, entertainers, A&Rs, you name it. I've been around those caliber of people. And if it was not for my experience in church, I wouldn't have it. And so one of the things I think one of the worst things that can happen to an artist is that they see immediate success after they come out. And so my 10 to 12 years in obscurity as a worship leader has really, 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 really benefited me greatly, because I got to fumble through some things in privacy, right? I got to, figure out, what do I really want to say? How do I really want people to know me? But also, if I came out as 20-year-old at the time Terrence, bro, I would have been dogmatic. I would have been ignorant. I would have been arrogant and loud and boastful. And so I needed some maturity, and I needed to go through some things. And I'm grateful that I didn't have to go through it in the major public eye, But for some reason, God was intentional enough to give me some inklings of who I'm going to be. So I saw some success, but it wasn't the degree of success that I believe that I will see. So I saw some success to keep me motivated and keep me moving forward, but I didn't see enough success that would make me comfortable and feel like I didn't need to work on my character, That's why it's important to not always have people around you. I think to some degree it is important to have people around you whose role and responsibility is strictly to affirm you and strictly to tell you that you all are in a bag of chips. But I also think that because we're human and, we grow up and we say and we do things and we experience things that are incredibly harmful, right? We make fun of things, we laugh at things that are incredibly harmful to other people. it's important to have other people around you that'll be like, yo, that's not hot. You know what I mean? That you can't be homophobic, you can't be racist, you can't be xenophobic, you can't be sexist and think that I'm just gonna be like, oh, that's cool, because it's not. I don't I don't care what you agree with or disagree with. I think one of the main principles as a Christian that I've been able to draw out for the application of my life is the importance of loving people. And loving people isn't all about where I agree or disagree, because getting even sometimes into agreement or disagreement is unnecessary. I think love has fruit, right? Love is even there are scriptures that talk about love is patient, it's kind, it has it's not boastful, it's honest, right? And so when I see people doing certain things that are arrogant and mean and you know without regard or consideration to somebody else, I just feel like they have a lot of growing to do. And that's not to fault them or demonize them. It's I think we all have to go through those journeys where we grow. My point is that I'm glad while I was going through those moments, I didn't go through it on public platforms. Bro, I've gone on Facebook and I went back and I typed in some words into, my page just to filter through some of my posts. Probably easily deleted 200 of my old posts. Because some of the stuff that you say, you joking, you 14, 15, that stuff can really come back and rip you apart. And I think this is why, because I recognize that that's how people are. This is why, as an artist, as a brand, as a business, it is so important to me to make sure that I monitor what I do. That doesn't mean I'm perfect. That don't mean I cross every T and dot every I, because I know intimately far above anybody else that I don't. But I also recognize and I keep in front of me every day what I'm trying to build. Because if I lose sight or if I lose focus of it for any period of time, for any long period of time, I can put it all at risk with what I say, with what I do, with how I interact with people. And so I think that it is, I think that it is really important that all artists recognize if I'm going to build something, it's not just what I sing, what I rap that makes a difference. It's what I say. It's how I show up. It's how I love. It is, all of it is impactful. It's how I vote. It's, when I show up for my family members. And it's not, that's a good one. It's not just about showing up so the public eye sees me as good. If my family and my friends and my loved ones, people who see me up close and personal, my coworkers, colleagues, if they can't speak well of me, everything that everybody else is saying in the masses, it doesn't make sense. So it's like, you have to have such a good character that your one-on-one interactions are just as pleasant as your 1 to 10,000 interactions are. So yes, 2 questions. So one of them is, how do you avoid being insecure? And then the other one was, how do you avoid being insecure and essentially unprepared in front of audiences and things like that? So the first one is my first answer to how do you avoid being insecure. I have learned, for me, I don't avoid the insecurity. I just accept it as a part of my journey, a very necessary part of the journey. I think in many ways that insecurity serves as a counterbalance to arrogance, right? And if I'm always, confident, if I'm always winning, my concern would be that there's no counterbalance and that I would be an abhorrent person to be around, and I wouldn't have any character that would make people feel safe, valued, respected, seen, etc. And so I think in some way, shape, or form, there is some utility for insecurity, so I'm not interested in doing away with it. I respect and accept that it's a part of the journey. I feel like too much insecurity is bad, and too much maybe confidence is bad. And so I'm not confident all the time, but where I'm not confident, I'm courageous. So if I'm insecure in something, if I have to prepare for a meeting, for an interview, I may not do the best job. but I'm going to do my very best to make sure I show up and that I'm present and that I'm aware and that I'm prepared, right? One of the things that will really mitigate, for me, one of the things that mitigates nervousness, insecurity, it's just preparation. If I know I'm about to do something I ain't never done before, like literally prepare. So, yeah.
In front of a large group of people.
I think in front of a large group of people, one of the things I remember is that if I'm afforded the opportunity to be in front of a large group of people, there's a reason for me to be there. And if I'm insecure, that insecurity is probably not well founded. And so I just try to center my purpose for being there to make sure that my insecurity doesn't override my level of effectiveness. You know what I mean? So I just remember, like, if I'm in a stadium and it's 50,000 people here, whether that's me singing backup, me headlining, whatever, right? Me opening for somebody else, I have a purpose in being here, and I'm going to lean into that, you know? So that's what I try to do. Just remember that I have a reason to be in whatever space and own the space that was given to me and not allow insecurity and so on and so forth to stampede that space that's been given to me, such to the degree that I'm not effective to people.